Unlawful display of a weapon in Seattle or Washington State. What is it? What does it mean? Is that what they really call it? What do they actually call the crime? Well, if you're interested in gun laws or you find yourself charged with unlawful display of a weapon, this is the video for you. My name is Lance Fryrear. I'm the owner of the law offices of Lance Fryrear. My law firm is in Linwood, Washington, and we've been defending people charged with crimes all throughout Washington State for more than 20 years. And let me tell you, these gun laws are complicated. They're so complicated, I put my glasses on because I'm going to have to read the law for this video. And if you watch my video series, you know this is only the second time I've ever done that. So if you find this video useful, please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. It'll help me get this information out to more people. So in this video, I'm going to cover three things. Number one, what is the law? And, what does it mean sort of in layperson's terms? Number two, what are some situations you might not expect where we've seen this crime charged? And most importantly, so stick to the end, is number three, how might we defend those type of cases, or how might we avoid getting charged with them in the first place? So I'm just going to jump right into it. And if you bear with me, I'm going to look away here and grab my computer I've got right here, and tell you what this law says. So the law is RCW 9.41.270. And I'm going to provide a link to this in the description to the video. But the title of the law is not unlawful display of a weapon. It's weapons apparently capable of producing bodily harm, unlawful carrying or handling, penalty, and exceptions. So the law says it's unlawful for any person to carry, exhibit, display, or draw any firearm, dagger, sword, knife, or other stabbing instrument, club, or other weapon apparently capable of producing bodily harm. So those are all the different types of weapons involved. But it's unlawful for any person to, just think about it, to carry, exhibit, or display a firearm in a manner, under circumstances, and at a time and place that either manifests an intent to intimidate another or that warrants alarm for the safety of other persons. Man, that was a mouthful, right? So that was a mouthful. What that basically means, if you're carrying your gun in a manner that is meant to intimidate someone, you display it, you do the old, here's my gun type thing like you see in a movie, and that's meant to intimidate someone, that can be a crime. Or you're just, you're acting crazy and you're waving your gun around, and therefore that warrants alarm for the safety of other people. So you can see it's very broad, and the police can sort of just charge it when they want to. And we've seen situations where it sort of looks like they just charged it because they wanted to. So if you're carrying your firearm around, don't be, making it so some other person gets scared, because even though you may not intend that, if that's what gets reported to the police and the police believe it, you might find yourself charged with a crime. So it's important to be careful. Now, there are some exceptions. And again, put my glasses back on and read some exceptions. Basically, the law says that this law does not apply to any act committed by a person in his or her fixed place of abode or business. So, in other words, this particular law would not apply. We'd be able to defend saying, hey, it happened in my house, or I did it at my business. And so it's a little bit iffy at the business, but I think the home will definitely be covered. It also doesn't apply that if you're like a law enforcement officer, it's part of your job to be enforcing the laws with your gun. Or if you are protecting yourself against the use of presently threatened unlawful force by another, or protecting another person from the use of such unlawful force. Okay? So basically, you're defending yourself or defending others, but listen to what it said. Presently threatened. So it has to be pretty intense and something going on right there to be able to use that as a defense. Now, you still might get charged, but that would be a defense in some situations. So thanks for hanging on. That's maybe the longest section one I've ever had, again, because it's complicated and there are some other exceptions, stopping a felon, stuff like that. But you can read the law for yourself on the link. So let me move on to number 2, situations where we see this charge. I've seen this case charged before with someone who just, was showing their gun to other people. Hey, here's my gun. I'm proud of it. I'm happy I got it. And some people got afraid and called the police. And this person, didn't answer questions how law enforcement wanted, and they got charged with a crime. We can see this charged. I've seen the case charged where someone never even unholstered their gun, and there was a dispute, and the gun was holstered, but the claim was they were trying to intimidate me. Hey, I've got a gun type thing, and that got charged as a crime. I mean, tough to believe, but it has happened. We've been around a long time. Of course, we can also see a charge where the gun was purposely brought out to defend themselves, and the law enforcement didn't think it was necessary. They thought it was an overreaction, this basically display of a weapon. So you have to be careful. The law is very broad. There's sort of black and white about how people feel about guns. So if you are carrying a weapon, only try to use it when you really have to, because otherwise you're sort of risking getting charged. So number 3, how might we defend these things? So thanks for staying to the end. How might we defend? Well, one of the most common ways to defend is, hey, the use or display or carrying of that weapon was reasonable, right? That the officer didn't hear the full story. And oftentimes the officer doesn't. You've got the person calling the police is upset. Then you as the gun owner are also very upset that you're being challenged, and you're elevated, and officers don't like that, and you probably don't get your entire story out correctly. And that's our job to tell your story later to the prosecutor. So that's the most common way we defend these things. We could also defend them on just the literal law, right? We could defend them that you had every right to display your weapon to protect yourself because there was presently threatened imminent harm, or you had a right to do it because you're in one of the places where you're allowed to do that under this statute, right? In your home or at business. Now, that doesn't mean you can just do whatever you want. There are other laws. I'm only covering this law, and this video is not legal advice, but I'm covering how we might defend this law, because you don't have carte blanche to just point guns at people in your own home, because there's other laws that cover that. But if you got charged with just displaying your weapon in some way and not aiming it at someone, we're allowed to do that under this statute at our own home. So those are some ways that we might defend. The final way we might defend, if we did sort of run afoul of the law or it looks a little bit worse for us, we might have you do some education. I might retake a gun class, learn more about the laws, and then try to negotiate with the prosecutor to let you not get convicted of this crime. Because if you're convicted of this crime, not only is it a gross misdemeanor, you're also going to lose basically your CPL. And we don't want that to happen. If you're a gun owner, CPLs are pretty important to you. So I hope you find this video useful. If so, please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. It helps get this information out to more people, and it's very confusing. And if you find yourself in the situation charged with a crime, or you're afraid you might be based upon law enforcement being involved in something that happened, call us right away. Give us a ring. We'll try to hear what happened, set you an appointment, figure out how we can help. And if it makes sense, we'll get on board to defend you. We'll do everything we can, and we'll be there for you. Thank you.